Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the Cricket Happening Show this on a Sunday. And on this Cricket Happening Show, again, three matches. First, one thing I have to say after a sensational match that took place yesterday at Lauderhill in Florida, I have to say this was not a good end to the India and West Indies tour of United States of America, as the second match had to be abandoned because of technical problems, glitches, some rain, wet outfields, a lot of things, and it proved to be a very drab affair. But the only good thing was that there was not a lot of runs scored today, as the Indian spinners really cottoned on to the West Indian batsmen, and the West Indian batsmen are all out for 146, which I'll be talking about. And as far as the second day's play is concerned, in the match between New Zealand and South Africa today, the New Zealand continued to have exercise great control over the New Zealand bowling, as South Africa continued to exercise great control as South Africa put on a commanding 481 for 8 wickets declared, which was run by Du Plessis' century, which was his fifth Test century. He was not on 112. And as far as close of play was concerned, New Zealand were absolutely in trouble, one could say, with 3 wickets already down for 38 runs at stumps, which I'll be talking about. So definitely there, South Africa doing very well on the second day. And as far as the other match is concerned, Australia versus Sri Lanka, today was the third one day at the Rangiri Dambulla International Stadium, which was really filled up to absolute capacity, and the reason being it was Dilshan's farewell ODI of his career, as this was his last match of his ODI international career. And unfortunately, I have to say that Sri Lanka lost this match to the Aussies by 2 wickets. As Australia won by 2 wickets, Sri Lanka could not put a big score on the board. Yes, Dinesh Chandimal went on to make a beautiful century, 102, but the Australians were really they really measured up to the task very well and saw to it that Australia will take a lead in the one-day series 2-1. So we'll come back to that. But first, what I'm going to do is we are going to go to the match between New Zealand and South Africa. So South Africa actually starting their overnight, resuming on their overnight score of 283 for 3, Duminy and Du Plessis at the crease. Duminy and Du Plessis, well, they carried on further without any further alarms, and they were really getting the runs to go. Duminy was just continuing in the same way as yesterday, but Duminy was the first to go today, as he was caught behind the bowling of Saudi for 88 with 13 boundaries, which made it 317 for 4. And Neil Wagner was called in because Tim Southee and Trent Boult could not make much of an impression. It was Neil Wagner who came in, and Neil Wagner was the man who started getting amongst the wickets, as he first dismissed Temba Bavuma for 8 by caught by Bracewell for 8 with 1 boundary. Steyn van Zyl was there at the other end. Du Plessis was slowly, he was really slowly charting out an innings, I would say, and he knew that he had a responsibility there, and that's what he was precisely doing, as Steyn van Zyl gave him some support with 35 with 5 boundaries before Neil Wagner picked up his wicket as well for 35, and then Philander was castled by Wagner for 8 with 1 boundary. Rabada was a victim of the bowling of Santner for 7 with 1 boundary. And finally, once Du Plessis got to his century, his 5th Test century, the South African captain declared, he himself is the captain of the team, as you know, he declared the innings closed at 481 for 8 declared. Du Plessis was not out on 112 with 12 fours and 2 sixes, and Dale Steyn was not out on 13. So 481. One does not know what was the reason, but I thought it was a very good declaration on the part of Du Plessis. Tim Southee 1 for 114, none for 107 for Trent Boult, 1 for 98 for Bracewell. But look at Neil Wagner. South Africa was his original home, and then he actually went to New Zealand, and now he definitely likes to be called Neil Wagner not in African style but in English style, as he mentioned. 39 overs, 8 maidens, 86 runs and 5 wickets. And you know Neil Wagner, he gives you a lot of, really peppers you with some short stuff, and that's what he precisely did today to get amongst the wickets. As far as New Zealand were concerned, in reply, the start was not good at all. I thought Dilshan was really bustling in. Vernon Philander got one ball which really beautiful delivery, which started on the leg stump and left Guptill squared up, and Guptill actually had edged it, but luckily the ball did not carry on to the slips. But there was soon the wicket to come for Philander in a different manner as he forced Guptill, who definitely has not been having a good time with the South Africans in his career, as Guptill actually poked one from outside the off stump from Philander, and Van Zyl picking up the catch. He was gone for 8 with 2 boundaries, which made it 13 for 1. And at the same score, Latham was knocked off by Steyn. Now, Latham actually, the previous delivery, there was a loud appeal. Actually, Steyn got the ball to nip in, and Tom Latham probably, Steyn thought it was, the umpire did not give it, and it was reviewed. And in the review, nothing happened. But in the next delivery, that Steyn bowled to Latham, he picked up his wicket by getting him caught by Quinton de Kock for 4 with 1-4. And let me tell you, he really ramped up the pace when Ross Taylor hit the crease. I mean, it so happened that this was turned down, and after that it was Ross Taylor had to face the music from Dale Steyn, as first he bowled a ball which was 140 knots per hour, and Taylor got it onto his into his shoulders. And the very next delivery was even more pacier by Dale Steyn as he hit Ross Taylor on the arm, and probably that really shook Taylor, and then it resulted in Ross Taylor getting a bit confused, I reckon. He was on 1 of 12 balls, and Bavuma actually ran him out for 1. Probably his concentration was disturbed after Dale Steyn really put him into some serious strife with his bowling. And finally, when stumps were drawn, New Zealand were really staring down the barrel with Kane Williamson, the captain, not out on 15 with 1 boundary. Henry Nicholls was not out on 4, 38 for 3. South Africa definitely doing first well with the bat and also with the ball here, having the New Zealand innings under their control here, with Dale Steyn, as I said, bowled superbly. 8 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 18. Philander 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 10. Got the ball to jag out and jag in beautifully. Rabada bowled 4 overs for 9 runs. So that was the match situation as far as the second day's play was concerned here at the New Zealand versus South Africa Super Sport Park in Centurion. Now the next match that I'm going to look after is the Australia versus Sri Lanka. Australia versus Sri Lanka, as I said, it was the farewell match for Tilakratne Dilshan, who has always not been talked about in the same breath as two big stalwarts, Mahela Javed and Kumar Sangakkara. But I would say one could really coin him in that bracket for sure, Tilakratne Dilshan. And Sri Lanka, it was the third one-day international. The toss was won by Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka decided that they would bat first. So Dilshan was given an opportunity. Dilshan was to open the innings, and but Sri Lanka did not have a good start at all, as Mitchell Starc really hit the target, and in fact he went on to plug the middle stump of Gunatilaka for 5 to give them the breakthrough. And after that, Dilshan stroked a few boundaries of the bowling of Starc and Hazelwood. He was looking good, but Kushal Mendis was the next to go, as Hazelwood actually picked up his wicket for 4. He was gone cheaply, 23 for 2, and then Dilshan and Chandimal combined and started getting some pretty good runs. I mean, they really tried to play according to the needs of the game. As that was happening, Adam Zampa actually bowled a full toss to Dilshan, and Dilshan trying to dispatch the delivery. This was his last innings of his ODI international career, as he was gone, caught by Bailey of the bowling of Zampa, 42 of 65 balls with 5 fours, which left the score 96 for 3. And then Adam Zampa got a straighter one, which was pitched in line of the stumps, with Angelo Matthews was deceived by that. LBW bowled Zampa for 2, which made it 103 for 4. And Dhananjay De Silva, who has been, I had a lot of hopes on Dhananjay De Silva, but unfortunately in the one-day format, he has been struggling once hard, and then Dhananjay De Silva was dismissed of the bowling of James Faulkner for 12 with one boundary. And after that, there were a lot of wickets started falling, and it was only Chandimal at the other end who was really sticking it out quite well there. And as we saw after Dhananjay De Silva, we saw Stark come in and pick up Kushal Pereira's wicket with a really scorching Yorker to dismiss Kushal Pereira, clean bowling him for 11 of 20 balls, 1-4. Tisra Pereira was a victim of Hastings for 9. Satutge Prasanna was a victim of the bowling of Zampa for 3. And the other Pereira, Dilruwan, made 17 of 21 balls, 1-4 and 1-6, also becoming a victim of Hastings. Finally, it was Dinesh Chandimal who rode on to his fourth one-day international century. As he started, he was the only one who was the glue around which the Sri Lankan innings was stuck today, as he carved out a neat 102 of 130 deliveries with 7 fours. He was a victim of Faulkner, and Sri Lankan innings came to an end in the final over in 49.2 overs. They were all out for 226, which was never a good score on this particular track, one could say. So 226 all out, the Sri Lankans. The bowling, Mitchell Stark 2 for 42, bowled superbly. Hazelwood 1 for 50, one of his full quota. Hastings bowled well, 10 overs, 141 runs and 2 wickets. Faulkner 9.2 overs, no maiden, 44 runs. But look at Adam Zampa's bowling figures. 10 overs, no maiden, 38 runs and 3 wickets. A very good bowling spell from Adam Zampa, right arm legs spinner. Australia chasing 227 to win over 50 overs. They didn't have a good start at all. In fact, Angelo Matthews was the one who picked up wickets pretty quickly, as David Warner was the first to go, caught by Dilshan of the bowling of Matthews for 10 of 12 balls with 1-4. And then we saw the victim, and then Sean Marsh and Aaron Finch joining. And Aaron Finch started hitting a few boundaries, 3 fours and 1-6 in the knock of 30 of 29 balls. Before Mauricio Panso, the left-arm spinner, was put into action right away by the Sri Lankan captain, and he was the one who stopped Aaron Finch in his tracks, as he got him LBW for 30 of 29 balls, 3 fours and 1-6, and then Angelo Matthews picking up Sean Marsh's wicket for 1, and that really left Australia into some sort of bother at 44 for 3. But after that, some good contributions coming in, which actually guided the Aussies to the victory. Bailey making 70 of 99 deliveries with 5 fours. Travis Head contributing 36 of 48 balls with 5 fours, playing with his natural strokes today. And Matthew Wade wading in with a knock of 42 of 46 deliveries with 3 fours, which really enabled the Aussies to win. After that, we saw Faulkner being dismissed for 4 by Ponso. Stark was out for 12. Hastings out for 5. 227 for 8. The Australians actually winning the match in the 46th over with 4 overs to spare. They had a 4-wicket victory, took a 2-1 lead in the one-day series, with George Bailey of the Australia named man of the match. The bowling figures for the Lankans: Angelo Matthews 2 for 30. I thought he bowled a very good spell initially. Pereira 2 was none for 18, was costly. Aponso did his job, 10 was 244, 2 for 45 for Dilruwan Pereira, the Rana Mafi. Dilshan 4 overs went for 24. The last one saw Dilshan bowling here. Prasanna 9 overs 1 for 39, did a good job. Dhananjay De Silva bowled 4 overs 1 for 21. So that was as far as the Australia versus Sri Lanka one-day international was concerned. Now very quickly, we are heading towards Lauderhill in Florida to see what really happened. As I said, in India, and so India actually won the toss. So and India this time decided that they would insert the West Indies into bat. And for West Indies, let me tell you, they started off. Johnson Charles was the only one who really took off in a nice manner as he started. The centurion of yesterday, Evan Lewis, was acclaimed. India made one change. They dropped Stuart Binney, who gave 32 runs in a single over to Evan Lewis, and they brought in Amit Mishra. And Mohammad Shami was the one who picked up that important wicket of Evan Lewis pretty early in the piece as he gave the breakthrough. He was gone for 7 of 6 balls with 1 4. And after that, we saw, as I said, Johnson Charles was the one who was hitting those boundaries. He had really taken off in the similar style to yesterday, and he was looking pretty good. But as that was going on, Marlon Samuels entered. But Amit Mishra, as I said, who was selected today, did the turn as Charles tried to hit him Actually, what Mishra did is Mishra actually got a ball which actually he followed Charles. Charles was giving himself room, so he followed Charles. That really cramped Charles, and then Charles went into a airy shot, and Rahane took the catch. But Charles was looking good. 43 of just 25 deliveries, 5 fours and 2 sixes. After that, Samuels was nipped in by Bumrah. Bumrah was brought into the bowling attack by Dhoni only after 10 overs. And he immediately obliged his skipper by getting the wicket of Marlon Samuels for 5, caught behind by Dhoni. Simmons making 19. And as I said, after that, the problem for the West Indies was that they were finding the spin too much to handle. As Amit Mishra started it, Ashwin joined him, and they throttled the West Indies innings to a great degree, and that left the West Indians all out for 143. Simmons was out for 19 of as many balls with 3 fours. Andre Fletcher was clean bowled by Bumrah for 3 for 9 balls. Pollard fell a victim to a very good, well-disguised delivery from Ashwin. Kiran Pollard has gone for 13. Andre Russell's wicket was claimed by Kumar for 13 or 15 balls with 1 6. Bravo not really getting to the pitch of the ball at all, trying to have a heave-ho stroke at the bowling. Mishra had his stumps rearranged for 3. Brathwaite did his bit in biffing 2 fours and 1 sixes in a quick knock of 18 of 10 balls, and that was it. Mishra actually cleaning up his stumps. He was gone, and Badri has his stump shattered by Mohammad Shami for 1, and Sunil Narine was not out on 9. And as I said, the West Indians today on the same pitch that was played yesterday, where runs were absolutely cascading. Today it was a different ball game altogether, as the West Indies had no answer to the Indian spinners. Look at the bowling from Amit Mishra: 4 overs 3 for 24, Ashwin 3 overs 2 for 11, Jadeja 2 overs none for 11, Bumrah bowled 4 overs 2 for 26, 2 for 31 for Mohammad Shami, 1 for 36 for Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. After that, one was really looking forward to this chase, but let me tell you, it absolutely petered out. Technical delay, rain, wet field, and finally it ended up as a no result. And this was the last match of the India and West Indies tour of the United States of America. So Rohit Sharma was not out on 10 of 8 deliveries with 1 6, and Rahane was not out on 4. And Indian innings, India were 15 for no loss in 2 overs, so they are really taken off there. But after 2 overs from Russell and Badri costing 7 each. But well, that was it. But I would say, even though the second match finished in this manner, I thought the Lauderhill, United States of America, would be pretty glad that they had such a sensational match which happened, which absolutely, I would say, went on to hit a lot of records. And I'm sure the United States of American crowd had a real slice of the pie yesterday, even though today was a real dampener. Well, dear fans and subscribers, that really sums up this cricket show of mine today. Hope you all enjoyed it. There's more to come tomorrow on my next Cricket Happening show. Until then, it's goodbye from Host Ram Studios. Thank you.